And yet another minute has passed. There's one person on the planet that would get that deep cut reference. Possibly two, but I don't think the teacher would remember it. And if the teacher was still alive to remember it. Oh my God. I don't even know why. Life is, fine. It's just stupid busy. And, but I mean, I've known this about myself. I've been very nostalgic in the past. You can ask my friends. I seem to appreciate the past, our past endeavors, shall we say? Deep cut, but most you'll get that. Deep cut of our endeavors. And every time we get together with friends that I've had for high school, we often shockingly reminisce about what we've done in previous years of our lives. But a minute has passed. That's even deeper. That's even farther back than high school. And my sister might still remember that. So, anywho, hi. I'm still here. I'm still living. The blood's still flowing. It's still flowing fine. Docs give me a clean bill of health. Blah blah blah. It's just life gets busy, and that's honestly just the way it is. And I miss this. I will say that straight off the top. A minute 32 into this, I really do miss this because this has been sitting here since the last time we talked. As you can tell, nothing is. This is the first time I've been in a Lego room since the last time we talked, and I happen to have a free moment, a free minute, as they say. And so I decided to come down here and start or continue my sorting of the black multi-parts. And what else did I call these things? I have a bin here somewhere. Hinge multi-part. So, multi-pass. And I wasn't going to talk about it. I was going to do some sorting because the more I talk, the less I sort. So, yes, I find my own humor very humorous. I just, whatever. When you meet me in public at a show or something, I'm not usually this giggly, but I watch my videos and I'm giggling all the time because I find when I talk about, and there's nobody here to talk to, feel like, Robert De Niro, who you talking to me? But really appreciate that guy more and more every day. And so I make these corny thoughts in my head and I laugh about them. So we had a corny thought the other day that was completely unintentional. I won't talk about it. Sandy and I had a good laugh over it. And I'm still smiling about that. But so I started sorting and I said, hey, wait a minute, I can talk about something because this, and again, whoever's watching this and is a Lego fan already knows this crap. So I don't know why I'm reiterating it. But I am sorting out my black multi-part / hinges. And I tried to keep my plate hinge parts in the bin that's on the floor there, so I don't care. Even I classify this as a plate hinge plate because it's a plate and it has spots to mount hinges. I even put these in here because again, this is a plate in here. It's one U or two. This depends on if you talk about Lego dimensions. Too thick at the plate, 246 makes up a brick. So this is a plate thick, and then they put a wing around it, and it's got the click hinges. So I keep those in the plate hinge bin for whatever. All these are, of course, plate hinges, which I used extensively over the years because a lot of them came with plastic space. This is not a plate. This shouldn't even be here because it is printed. It should be in my printed bin, but I was probably lazy that time. I already had this thing out here, and so I put that in here. I have dozens of these, by the way. Dozens. It's like, what? I've never bought. I literally have never bought off the store shelves any set that had this piece in it because I wouldn't. So, and yet I have dozens of these. Use lots for the win. So bigger wing plates. So what I wanted to talk about really quickly, and of course we're already 5 minutes into this, and Dave gets around to whatever he wants to talk about. So to start this, I'll start here. This is the very first hinge plate in my collection. Not this piece, but this type of hinge. I think they call it the 2x4 to 2x5 hinge plate. When it's expanded, it's 2x9. But these things have been around since at least the early 70s. I'm not sure if they existed back into the 60s, the late 60s, but at least the early 70s, this hinge plate has existed. Even with the hole in it, because they used to run the string for the cranes through the holes. So, and there's a hole on this side too. So this is the earliest hinge piece I remember. Now, to be said, there's that milky white connector thing that came out in the 60s that you can make trains or trucks that held trailers. And I adore that piece. It's not classified in my collection as a hinge piece, so it's not in here. And of course, they never came in black, so it's definitely not in here. So there was ways of making hinges, if you want to call that a hinge, the milky white connector. It's not really a hinge. It's just, a thing that connect tires together. And so you can have like a train of vehicles or train cars. But this piece was one of the early, I keep on hearing movement. And I should bring this one too. Yes, this one as well. So, both of them. I don't know which one came out first. I would imagine this one came out first. I don't do research on this, by the way. I should. I was thinking before I start this video, I'll start the laptop and figure out exactly what year these things were released. But that's just too much effort for me, and I don't care. All I know is that from my childhood, these parts were ubiquitous in red. Lots in red. Blue, I don't remember them being as prevalent until Classic Space came out, but they could have been blue. White is, especially in this piece, I think it only came in the sonar transmitter cruiser thingy, the 6783 or whatever it is, Light and Sound. I don't think it came in any other set, and I know the one that I refurbished up there has a blue hinge, because I was shocked I didn't have a white one, and that's when I found out it only came in that set. So I know I never got that set in a used lot, or if I did get it in a used lot, the hinge didn't come with it. Now, I did see that sonar transmitter cruiser thing. I'll bring it down just because I'm talking about it, and you saw me do a review on it the other day. And there's the blue hinge right there, because I don't have a white one. And the white ones are stupid expensive on Bricklink. And I said, I never wanted to build, well, I did not want to build this set, but I wasn't like gung-ho to build this set. The X1, which I think I have at least 4 or 5 copies of, because I did buy one of those off the shelf, and every time I saw one in used lot, I got it, because it's it's one of my favorite Classic Space sets, period. And the fact that it's a Light and Sound is just icing on the cake. So this set came with a white 2x4 or 2x5 hinge plate, and I don't have one, which is, again, shocking to me. But I have tons of red, I have tons of blue, tons of light gray, obviously, because, again, Classic Space. It's red, blue, white, gray, yellow. I don't know, I didn't bother checking. I don't know if yellow ever came out with a 2x9, but I know they have 2x4s. So, because I needed it for the 853, the supercar, the car chassis, the 853 or 948, I think. So these hinges have been around since the 70s, at least since the 70s. Now, to be said, they also had, I'm going to try to find, there we go, these guys. Now, I cannot say if these guys came, actually it wasn't even these guys, it was this guy in the 1x4 that matches, which I haven't found one in black yet. The 2x2 ball and socket didn't come out till years later. Okay, I'm not even gonna bother trying to find the socket. Is that one? No, it's not the 2x2. So the 1x4 ball and socket, I'll just use this one as a demonstration. They've been around since forever, but they were the 1x4 plates with ball and socket, not the 2x2 plates with ball and socket. The 1x4 ball and sockets were back in my favorite fire station, 1973 white fire station with the little red vehicles, well before minifigs. So they've been around for a while. So the hinge plate, the original hinge plate and the original ball and socket have been around since even possibly before my childhood. But that is what we had. And that was the extent of it. So again, I do not know specifically when this part came out, but it was pre-Technic, pre-1977, because my proto-Technic set with the 1x2 bricks with chain link on it had the backhoe, the steam shovel, and that's what this used. So that was pre-1977. This piece has been around since before 1977, Technic. And that's been fantastic too, but I don't remember this nearly as long as I remember these. So I don't know if this came out the same time as these ones. I highly doubt it. But this is a little bit later on, but still early to mid 70s, maybe before. But this has been around since my youth. The two youths. This has been around since my youth. And it's still, to this day, a fantastic piece to use. So this is going somewhere. It's not profound. It's not at all profound, but it is going somewhere because I started thinking about it. This guy, the 1x2 brick, hinge brick, came out. The first one that I remember getting, of course, is the 918 one-man vehicle spaceship that I got for Christmas in 1978. Okay, so it came with two of them. This is what opened the top hatch. The 4x6 trans yellow, and this when the 924 and the 928 then also came in and opened up those things. And also it was the radar dish holder. Like if most of the classic space sets back then that came out the first year had at least one of these 1x2 hinge bricks, which I thought, these things were just mind-blowing to me, because instead of using a 2x4, to move things around like that, this little tiny thing was fantastic. It's like 1/4 the size. Like it's fantastic. I really love this thing, and I have lots of these. But I use lots of these, and then I'm gonna drop names now. By the way, I'm gonna drop names now because my good and dear friend Anthony Sava, he doesn't know he's my good and dear friend, but my good and dear friend Anthony Sava used to use these hinge bricks to do snot because there was nothing else to use at the time. The headlight brick wasn't good enough at that point to do snot with, because if you wanted the plate, if I can build this really quick, I'll use whatever. I'll just use this piece. If you want to get this snot on the front here, I'll put it in the edge there, and still be able to put, what am I going to buy? Do these pieces on here. Here we go. Look at the logo on that thing. And you want to do that so there's no gap here between the brick and the snotted plate. You would just use a hinge brick. And I don't know if he invented that, but he did it extensively in his earlier trains back in the early 80s. And then, I don't know, I didn't know him in the early 80s. I only knew him in the 2000s and late 90s. But that's what he would use to get the plate vertical. So the studs are out, so you can put whatever you want on it, greebling or whatever, make the train nose, whatever it is, you could do that easily with the 1x2 hinge brick. And the geometry makes it very easy to make this thing secure, and it's better than using the 2x2 L bracket or anything else. The hinge brick did a fantastic job. So what I've noticed, and this is why I start, okay, I won't go into that right now. But so in the 70s, well, not 70s, into the 80s, when classic space, before classic space stopped, before 1986, I don't think there was any classic space released in 1987. I'm quite sure there was still classic space sets being released while they were releasing Futuron in 1986. I could be wrong, but I think I remember that. But anyway, far before then, classic space, not the first gen 3-digit sets. I don't think these were ever available in 3-digit sets. I think the first time these pieces that I'm going to show you in a couple seconds were only available in 1982. I don't think they're even available in 81. I don't think there are anything on the Starfleet Voyager or on the all-terrain vehicle. I don't think these pieces, I don't have one here, but I don't remember them being on there. Is these hinge plates. The 3-finger and the 2-finger hinge plate. Now, again, at the beginning when I first got one of these, fantastic, absolutely fantastic, because then again, you eliminate this, let me get this thing open, this thing where you flip it over and the studs are upside down. Right, this is right side up, this is upside down. Now you can, although I don't think it's like a recommendation, you can pop out the little red thing and flip it over. I don't think I've done it. I will not say whether or not I've done it or not. But so trying to get 2 plates that are facing the same side with this thing, you can't do it without taking this thing apart. This thing comes along and it just opens up all the doors in the world to people who are building smaller ships. Like all the ships from 1982 to way past use these things extensively. The 3-finger / 2-finger hinge, non-clicking hinge, and it worked fantastic, great. And then some people started building mechs using these things. The issue with that is that these things move, especially if they get a lot of use. They get very, very loose, kind of like minifig heads. They get lots, and so your mech can't stand on its own. And then there was lots of threads on LugNet back in the day about how to reinforce these things so they wouldn't move around unless you wanted them to. And you put little tiny pieces of paper in here to make the friction more, blah, blah, blah. There was lots of threads back in the day that make these joints and other joints at the time, like the ball and socket joints, stable enough to build mechs, which is fantastic because that's, self-help. I'll tell you, the LugNet was the self-help group for all Lego fans. But going with the finger hinges, they came out with so many different parts for the finger hinges. This guy for the connecting the horses together, and then these guys because that's 1x2 with the 3 fingers on the other side, and then this guy, the digger, that's part of that series. Then this guy to make the long ones, and then this guy, and there's a few more that I haven't gotten around to yet that I see. But there was a whole, and again, I'm going to use this word. Oh yeah, this guy too, for the horses. There was a whole, and I'm going to be very clear when I say these next 3 words. Very, very clear, because this is where my disappointment comes in lately. But I guess they're moving away from it. But there was a whole system of play, which was their motto in the 80s. The Lego system. It was right on the box. There was a whole system. It was thought out across the board. So instead of just coming up with all these one-off things, there was a whole, so you could use these things, because again, the 3x2, the 3 and 2 hinge plates were used not just in classic space, although that's what I focused on, but all themes, all times. This thing was used with the other things. Like Castle, of course, I think this thing only came in a Castle set because it put horses together. It may have come in other sets. I don't know off the top of my head. This thing came in a bunch of sets, but especially classic space, obviously. But it was a system of play that they developed and thought out. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, at least 9 different plate types or connector types for the 3 fingers / 2-finger hinge system. At least 9 different pieces. 9 separate. I think there's probably more, but I haven't gotten around to this. I can't remember any more off the top of my head. But it was a system. Now, that did get basically directly replaced by the click hinge. And again, you have the click hinge, which again, if you look at it, let me do here, this one. If you look at it, basically the same. And I know why they did this. I'm trying to find this guy. So you got this guy as a click hinge now, instead of this guy as the non-click hinge. They're exactly the same size. They're exactly the same style. And yet this one clicks. And this one doesn't. So now you can build mechs easier and better, and they'll hold their position so you can have them like pose. Freeze frame. So, I loved LugNet when somebody would build a mech or whatever and do like a action shot holding the gun. These things were much better for that, for the holding in one spot. So you can have the funky angle so that the leg looked like it's kicking the air, like Neo from the Matrix. Somebody built a Neo in the Matrix mock. He's got his leg out, right? Because you can do that. You can make characters posable very easily with this click hinge. Now, the issue is, it is posable, but it doesn't have the smoothness to it. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 spots. That's it. Whereas this thing, of course, is very, I already took it apart, doesn't matter. To each his or her own. This is a lot easier to build mechs with and other things with that you want to be posable or rigid enough to stand on their own. And this one, let's count how many pieces I got so far. So I got the 2 of those, 1 each. And so that goes there. That goes there, that's 2. Then it comes with the same thing over there. So that's 3. And it has this guy, which I didn't know it came in 3 because I have a whole bunch of them in 2 long. So that's 4 and 5. And then, and so this is what they didn't do with the 2 or 3 fingers, because they also have that. So you can do this, which you could not do with the regular hinges. The click hinges, you can do that because they came out with the inverted part and piece. And then they got this guy, right? So that's fun. And then this guy. So basically the same number of pieces, but then they have these guys too, which is great for the click hinge, because then this is the well, there's nothing wrong with the click hinge, because then you can pose your dragon or whatever, or your scramjet wing or thruster or whatever, easily, right? Because it's going to stay the same shape all the way around if you put a bunch of them together. And then they came out with this, which I thought was also a brilliant piece, the axle to click hinge piece, because the axle gets rid of this kind of thing. That's kind of one piece and you can't change it too much. The axle now, because there's a million axles out there and the axle can do whatever you want. so this thing, fantastic. And then they have the opposite of this guy, the anti-axle, because of course I have my space shuttles up there that uses these to keep the wings together. So the click hinge also has its place in the echelons of how you can build wonderful things out of hinges. And so I'm not going to come down on one side or the other as to which one is more superior than the other. They both have their pluses and they both have their minuses. My thing is, of course, I'm old school. so I'm just stupid old school. And I really like the original hinges. But I have used new hinges. When I built my MMMT theme of 5 or 6 sets, I used the click hinges extensively. Because I could pose things. I have wings that I wanted at the same angle on both sides, and you can't do that with the regular hinges. They just flop around, right? So the click hinges are superior in that regard. If you want the rigidity, but also the movement when you want to move it, click hinges. If you want something that's fluid, then the regular hinges. But as I said, the regular hinges do get to the point where they get stupid loose. And that's the problem with the regular hinges. I'm not sure if that ever happens to the click hinges. I don't think so. I've never had a click hinge fail on me yet, unless you put a whole bunch of weight on it. But in the end, I have both, and I'm happy I have both. I have used both, and I will continue using both. So the click hinges themselves are not going to go into the bags for selling, just because I do use them. The other tangential thing that some people did, and this is way back again on LugNet, I mentioned this piece, so this is back to this piece again, one of my favorite things, is that they put, and again, the Lego company, this is So you got this, and you got this, and you see that overall, I don't know if I can show this to you, the actual connector points, the circles, are exactly the same diameter. There we go. And they're exactly the same placement from this to this. So they borrowed from this guy to build this guy, the top of the 1x2 brick hinge guy. So what you can do, and some people have done, is that you can put this thing into the base of a hinge brick. And there you go. So I've seen I don't think this ever happened in a set. I don't believe this literally ever. I could be wrong because I don't own all the sets, but I don't remember seeing, from my point of view of any set that I ever bought, that this thing was on this piece here. But I have seen, again, back in lug nut days, the fact that it even fits the little thing in the middle there. You can see right there. Yeah. I have seen people do this, again, pre-click hinge, this kind of setup. I thought that was kind of cool. I thought I should show it to you from the old school. Hey, you kids, get off my grass. I thought I'd show that to you just in case you've never seen that done before. So 100% about Lego. Woohoo! Sometimes I amaze myself. So in the end, I can shake my fist in the general direction of Denmark about how I believe that they are ignoring the system of play. But what I also do believe, just by thinking about it through this conversation, and even putting some thought into it earlier, that the Lego system of play was done in the 80s and 90s because they were kind of focused on, you build the set and that's it. A lot of people say today that's all they're focused on, you build the set and that's it. And I'm going, yeah, I don't think I think that's as farthest from the truth in the history of Lego company that's ever happened. The amount of various and disparate and wonderful and really unique and beautiful and everything, the amount of pieces they have right now is just extraordinarily huge. The amount of pieces they have that they're pumping out. They're coming out with new pieces. Of my buddy Jeff on his show, which I have not been on in a while. My buddy Jeff on the show is talking every week about the different pieces they're coming out with all the time. And so yes, when people build the street racers or whatever they call them, the speed champions or whatever, I can't remember what they call them, we can buy them all off Josh. They say, oh, that only builds that car and that's it. Are you kidding me? Have you seen the plethora of parts that are in one of those supercars? I mean, the supercar is this big. I mean, I think I got some boxes in here. Just pull it out. Josh built them all. I was going to grab in here, just grab one. Which one did I grab? Woohoo! He has all of them. There are very, very few. I don't think there's one specific part in here that has more than 10 pieces in here. I think because there's a million people. Well, I don't know how many pieces came in this set, but they're all different. They're all different shapes. They're different sizes. They're different styles. You can build. Again, maybe not with this set specifically. You might have to get other sets to build stuff out of your own mind. But there are so many cool parts in this thing. And then I look at my friends who keep on sending me the pictures of the mocks they're building. Because again, I've just been so busy that I've only been talking to people on Facebooks and stuff like that, and messengers. Every so often they'll send me a message. Hey Dave, how's it going? And we talk. But they show me pictures of their mocks that they're building, that I'm not building. And they go, oh, Dave, this is what I'm building right now. And I go, oh my goodness, that just makes me like just so happy that there are people out there who can take pieces from here and build something completely different, like a castle or a streetscape or whatever else like that. And so, and I think right now, you don't need a Lego system of play. You don't need that in the 21st century. You haven't really needed it in a while. The one caveat, the one down point that I would have mentioned to the Lego company is that they discontinued the windows and doors. Basically, they discontinued, or they severely limited the number of different windows they'd have about 25 or 20 years ago. But now people build their own windows and doors, brick-built windows, brick-built doors. So you don't need to get a window or door in a set. You build your own. so you don't need a system from the Lego company telling you how to do something. Build it yourself. And there's the parts out there to build it yourself. I am not going to myself because I'm stuck in the 70s and 80s. That's where I am. That's my happy zone. That's my go-to. I'm at the point now where, oh, Dave, why don't you try pushing yourself to do something? No, I'm not remote. I haven't made a video in for weeks. I don't have the time or the wherewithal or the want to build other things right now. I want to fix up what I have. And make it better, to make it more interesting for people. Jeff, with his inspirational Easter egg stuff for his castle, I did that for the layout the last time. I loved it. People loved it. So I do not feel like building something new. I don't. I really don't. I have some thoughts in my head, but I can guarantee you right now, that the thoughts that I have in my head for building something is going to be a big, giant, direct homage to the building styles of the late 70s and early 80s, because that's where I am. That's where I want to be. If this was something like work, I would push myself to learn something new. If this was something like an obsession, I would push myself for something new to do. But I know this is my hobby, and I have to eke out the time that I have and how busy my life is and our lives are, that I do not mind sticking with what makes me comfortable. And so there's people always like, oh, and again, I love them for it. They will not bring the same thing to the next show. They show something once, they take it home, they take it apart, and they build something new for the next show. That's awesome. That is 100% awesome. I think that's a fantastic way of doing it. That's how they interact with their hobby. I am not such person. I am definitely not such person. What I am right now is trying to figure out, again, as I mentioned so many other videos, how to make the layout itself better. People say it's great. I keep on seeing the deficiencies in it. I keep on trying new stuff, but old school building, new stuff to put in there. And I got a million ideas in my head just for that alone. Right, so I have a million things I could be doing right now, besides making videos and sorting black hinge and multi-parts, but this has to be done. I'm happy where I am. I really am. Oh yeah, I forgot this one. 10. Forgot. Yeah, there you go. The 3 finger to finger, the turntable. So I am very happy with my life right now. I'm very happy with where things are going. I got an immediate idea that I'm going to tackle right after I get this thing off the table, and at least mostly sorted to the part where I'm comfortable with it. But I'm sorting out black because I want to build something in black. I won't mention what I'm going to be building in black. So that's where I am. 32 minutes. Ooh, I 100% talking about Lego. Well, almost 100% talking about Lego. So that's it. Yay! Made it to the end of this video. As always, I am sorry for the lack of updates. Again, I do not have a Patreon. Again, I do not have people paying me for this. Again, I don't want people paying me for this. I have been following a whole bunch of YouTube channels and some TikToks, but I've been really watching a lot of YouTube with people that like Trek Culture, which is one of my favorite YouTube channels. But Steve Shy is fantastic. And a few others that have Patreons and have that little spiel at the beginning or the end. Simon Dan, fantastic guy. That they keep on talking about their Patreons and their GoFundMes and whatever else they got going on out there. And I have contributed money to some of those people and YouTube channels because I think they're important for me, not necessarily for anybody else. But I don't want that here. I do not want any kind of monetary exchange from you to me because I'm not interested. I have a great salary for a great job, so I can do this whenever I want and not feel. I will say this because I should have been born Catholic. Deep cut. I should have been more Catholic because I feel guilty about everything. But one of my guilts lately is I haven't made a video in a long time. Not to wrap this up, video, make it longer. Because because I miss this. I really do. And but life gets busy, and therefore I balance my life, and I think I made the right decisions, and I'm not losing any sleep over it. But I am still here, and I plan on making more videos. Again, might not be as updated as sometimes when I get 6 weeks in a row. I remember that. Jeff was behind 6 weeks. But that's because I was making 4 or 5 videos a day. And right now I'm making once every 3 weeks. So that's good enough for me. And I want you guys to take care. I sincerely want everybody out there to take care. I am not going to get bogged down into the events of the world, because again, I'm going to try to have this to be a reasonably, hey, let's talk, fun stuff. That's my plan. But if I do go off on a rant, I'll let everybody know before I go off on a rant, so you can turn it off and ignore it. And we'll go off from there. So stay safe, take care. There was something else in my head, but it's gone now. But in the end, stay safe, take care, and I'll talk to you soon.